Okay, guys. Firstly, thank you everyone for joining the Mega AMA event. Just as a quick point, I'm battling a little bit of COVID. I think I haven't been tested, but I've had COVID before, and I know what it feels like. And if I I would like to bring the fire. However, I'm hopefully going to rely on our amazing project leaders to bring the fire. So if I sound a little bit not my normal self, that's the reason why, but I will do my level best. Don't you worry about that. So just as a quick few points of note. So on the Mega AMA today, we've got Mindtopia. We've got a project called Bourbon and Blockchain. Now we had a project called Bad Bunnies NFT. They're an Australian team, and my feeling is they may be struggling to make it given the time. I think it's maybe like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. But we will, if they turn up, great. If not, we carry on regardless. We have Ghost Life, and then we also have Only Burns and then Presend. So good group of projects. Really looking forward to getting into this. I just want to say from an MDB perspective, this is not, there's no association at this stage. Obviously, everyone needs to do their own research. Each project will pitch. We'll have 10 minutes each to kind of give an overview of the project. So, not exactly a deep dive, but hopefully enough information for you guys to get a sense of what each of these projects bring in terms of innovation, to bring it to communities. And then I think probably we'll take some questions at the end. So rather than stopping and taking questions at this stage, we'll do the questions and answers at the end. Now, we've got a channel called AMA Questions. So I've got that up. I mean, feel free to just drop any questions in there, and then at the end we'll take some of them as we go through. So with that being said, hopefully that was kind of a bit of an intro. I'm going to speak a little bit about MDB for anyone who's new here, just as a start of a tank to get things kicked off, and then we will invite Mindtopia up onto the stage first, followed by Bourbon Blockchain. Maybe we'll skip Bad Bunnies if they're not available. Then Ghost Life, followed by Only Burns, and then Drew. Hopefully you don't mind, given that you were kind of late to the table, buddy. We'll bring you up last if that's okay, mate. Okay, so look, let's for anyone who's new, MDB. What is MDB? Well, MDB stands for Make DeFi Better. We're on the Binance Smart Chain. Kind of flagship token. So in terms of a kind of story, as we go from kind of how it started to kind of how we've developed into an ecosystem now. So our first token is the MDB, or I got it on the tip of my tongue. $1 Million Baby. There you go. Sorry, I had a bit of a boomer moment there. $1 Million Baby was the first token we brought out. We started in end of April, I think it was 29th of April is when we launched. We minted 1 billion tokens. Only ever minted 1 billion tokens, and that's deflationary from the get-go. There will be no more $1 Million Baby in supply. As I say, we've burned 15%, which is 150 million tokens to date. Now, the MDB token itself has a lot of supportive mechanisms, and obviously that rewards its holders. So, whether we have staking, bonds, we also have LP farming, and they're all available via our Xenia app. We also launched our NFT suite, which essentially was, well, just to make a statement, we've locked around 72% of the total supply of that 1 billion. If you account for the burns as well. And part of that supply that's been locked was $40 million of those tokens taken out to supply for our NFTs, and we minted 500 NFTs, the Phoenix Fire Club NFTs. And what they do is every 30 days, we essentially reward based on buy and sell volumes as part of the taxes. We essentially supply a kind of a fee or an amount of tokens of that total pool. So there's 40 million tokens set aside. If you think about that 40 million tokens, what it roughly equates to is around 84,000 tokens distributed to each NFT over a period of time. And that number will vary depending on volume and where the token's at. But even if you just look at the value of that realistically, I think they minted on average for about $800 per NFT. I think that it's at least double in terms of the floor price to buy them NFTs if you go on the open market. And the concept really is that over time, as the MDB price starts to rise, you've got locked 84,000 tokens. Obviously, they're being drip fed slowly every 30 days, but ultimately those NFTs are worth the value of that 84,000 MDB over a period of time. So, hopefully as MDB price starts to rise in the future, the value of each one of those airdrops will be, more significant than the last, so to speak. So they were the NFTs. They were really popular NFTs, and as I say, they are, to buy them on the open market now is at least double. I think is the lowest floor price. So that's that. And then obviously to complement our ecosystem, so that was the first token that we minted, which was the $1 Million Baby. We then brought out our stable backed token MDB Plus. That's 100% BUSD backed. It can only appreciate in value. It's very low taxes in and out, and it's probably as low risk as it gets within our system. In terms of our kind of B2B offering, we allow other projects to use MDB Plus as a stable pair to back with their token as well. We've got a number of different projects who've already got involved with that. I think Sphere have been involved. We've got, again, I'm having a boomer moment. What are they called? Someone will tell me in a short while, but there's a number of projects that have been involved in that. This is why I was debating on cancelling this, by the way, because I just felt like absolute crap. So you'll have to allow me a couple of little boomer moments in this. So I'll bring it back. ESP, sorry, that's the other one. I've got a question from Austin. Just give me a sec, Austin. I'll get to that in a short while. Okay, then we moved the risk curve slightly higher. We brought out Phoenix Plus, similar to MDB Plus, but it's got a bit more of a gamification element to it. Slightly higher taxes in and out, but it has a lot more volume. And essentially, the risk element in this is that you can be cashed out when the volume kind of starts to flatten. We call that our inferno. So, because the volume's higher, if the volume starts to kind of get a little bit flat and buys and sells start to dip out, by cashing you out automatically, it forces volume back in, and then that starts to ramp up the curve again. So that's our P plus. That's probably doing one of the best in terms of its growth. If you look at that, it's also paired with our Infinity token, which I'll talk about in a second. But for me personally, I think if we've seen some massive gains in P plus, it's been, or Phoenix Plus, it's been a real game changer for the stable back token. So again, another one that can only appreciate in value. And then, as I said, then finally we've got our Infinity token, which is kind of the degen face melter. We launched that in September. As I say, it's paired with Phoenix Plus, and because the LP is so slim, it's a 20-to-1 ratio. So in terms of its trust fund, it's 20% backed, and the LP is one part of that. So really small LP. So the kind of action in terms of price action can swing violently up and down, and can it be traded? Yes, of course it can. I think it's 5% tax in and out on that one as well. So when you stake Infinity, you stake that and you receive MDB as rewards as well. So that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of MDB as an ecosystem. Now we are, we've kind of closed the chapter on phase one, which is the ecosystem and Xenia. The future looks very bright. We are looking more at phase two now, which I won't go into too much detail, but it's really kind of growing the B2B element and utilizing other projects, things like Gravity as an example. Gravity is where we kind of help projects that have maybe not failed, but have kind of struggled with the markets in general, or just haven't had the adoption they want. And what we essentially do is give them a lifeline by kind of absorbing their liquidity. And obviously what that means is that we bring in, some new faces into the MDB ecosystem, and that in itself kind of propels growth of the token as well. And the majority of our, not majority, I'd say that's not probably the right word, but a lot of the kind of members within our Discord are ex-Gravity projects, and at least I think the first Gravity project, Vault, some of those guys would have seen at least a 6x. It's just yeah, it's a challenging environment. It's not always nice for someone if you on the wrong side of the projects that have failed. But I think, projects like the Gravity project give projects a lifeline. So we call that part of our B2B suite. So it's kind of business to business to help other projects out. And obviously we have the MDB side, or the MDB Plus, which allows other projects to use that LP to pay with their own token. And then on top of that, we're also looking at using another B2B element in terms of being able to provide services to other projects to help them create and launch their own NFT projects from cradle to grave, depending on what they need in terms of skill set. Because obviously we've done it, we kind of learned the lessons, we know how these things go, and that's another element of the kind of B2B piece that we're looking into and really trying to capitalize on. So I think that's it really from me, at least from an MDB perspective. Hopefully, if there's any questions, obviously drop them in the AMA channel questions for me if there's anyone new and wants a bit more information on MDB. But with that, without further ado, I would think, so first up, we have Mindtopia, who is representing, I think that's Daniel, is that right? Yeah, let me bring you up, Daniel. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, matey. How are you?
Pretty good. Just drank a little caffeine, so waking up.
What time is it? What time is it where you are, Daniel?
It's 4 in the afternoon, so it's not bad, but
you have an afternoon nap.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, do you want to maybe give us? So the format is 10 minutes, really. So you're not massively rushed. It's not like a 5-minute speed dating exercise. It's more about giving us as much information, a little bit about how you got started, what the project is about, and ultimately what you're trying to solve, and in terms of what the project is and how it represents investment for the user and essentially how they make money. I think that's always the key things, at least at this stage, people want to understand. So the stage is yours, my friend.
Alrighty, thank you very much. So Westy, he's the founder of Mindtopia, and this was kind of his brainchild, really drawn from a lot of the past projects that we're in, and seeing how to develop a protocol that has real revenue. We're definitely not overhyping the potential of Mindtopia, but this is something solid that I think will grow well, will season well. It's simply a mining as a service protocol through NFTs as a utility token. So one would, if you're looking to invest in the project, you would purchase an NFT, you would mint that from the website. That NFT really gives you a share in the mining rewards. It gives you a share in the DAO, the responsibility to make decisions for the protocol. And so Westy brought me on board to really help him build out this DAO feature, to be able to build out the community and the framework for voting, the framework for proposals, for showcasing the data on miners. A lot of things change pretty quickly in the crypto world, and that is also the profitability of a miner versus the cost. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts for as simple as a protocol as it is. But the key is really to present an opportunity for individuals to enter the mining type of atmosphere. If you can't afford a miner yourself, or you don't have the time to manage a miner, to be able to manage the upkeep, really to just take all that extra hassle out of it for somebody who wants to enter mining and create a community where your voice is heard through your NFT, which has voting power. So right now we've really we do have a miner up and running. As far as a couple days ago, we do have a Litecoin Doge miner. And that is hosted through a facility in Australia that's focused on renewable energy. The cost there is relatively, I believe, reasonable, so it's not too much of an impact on profitability. We were and that was voted on by the community. That went really well. That seems to be going really well through Snapshot. That seems to work very well for us. The second one that we decided to vote on was KDA as a miner. And so we were looking at Gold Shell, and that kind of became a little obsolete once Bitmain came out with their new miner just, I think, a week or two ago. So the DAO, as you know, we've kind of pivoted rather quickly through a couple different votes to focus on pre-ordering a KDA miner. This new Bitmain has to offer. So that'll take a couple months to get here, but that's really exciting. The potential of KDA is big. We're excited about that, and then we're looking at our third miner right now. You know, where we're going to move to next. So really, it's a community focused protocol where we're all working together. Yes, we do have a team of people, myself, Westy and Christine right now, and a couple moderators to help us manage things. To slowly build, or have that organic effect and network out, just to have real value back to the investor, somebody that's coming in. They know where their revenue is coming from. We're working on some things for the website to be able to showcase all that information so people can see that. They can see what's going on. And then as far as moving this project from an idea to a full working product, we are working towards the distribution cycle right now, and that's probably the vote that'll go up next as far as whether that's going to be a bi-weekly or monthly, and creating a vesting period. Let's say, you purchase an NFT and you come in and we just paid out, how does that look? Is there a 2-week vesting period? So for the next payout cycle, so we're still formulating some of these things. We're still putting together the working product from start to finish to be able to distribute preferably a stable token back to the holder. So really, there's no platform for you to go to be able to claim your rewards. Everything's airdropped on that time frame that's voted on by the DAO. Let's say it's bi-weekly. Our goal is really at this point to distribute BUSD back to your wallet. And honestly, your NFT never expires. You don't have to show up in the room for a month if you don't want to. You can be engaged every day if you want to. This really is a really simple and great protocol for somebody looking just easy. This is just an easy thing to be a part of, and that's what we're really trying to showcase.
Have you guys ran your kind of figured out roughly at this stage what your hard cap would need to be in terms of being able to purchase, a given amount of miners, and what that would potentially look like from a, an ROI for whatever the cost of an NFT would be, as an example? And then the other question I'd like to know is, or an answer to, if you have it. One of my concerns would always be just the geopolitical state of energy and the cost of energy. So, the hash rate versus the ever increasing rise in energy costs. Is there a sweet spot at least that you need to be over in terms of the price per token of whatever we're mining versus the cost to run the miners themselves? Is that a concern at this stage, or is that, I guess, is the anticipation that we'll hit a bull run at some point soon, and that will be not even a thing to be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, that's something you always got to be concerned about, is your cost versus profitability. That's your bottom dollar. We definitely want to make sure that people are able to get an ROI out of this product. So right now, just from the numbers that I've looked at, just a modest number is, you can look at a 2-year ROI for a, let's say each NFT is $250. Right now we've sold 115 NFTs, so we're looking at, we've raised about $28,000, and we're looking at our third miner to purchase right now. So let's say that NFT was rewarded, each NFT is rewarded $10 every month. You're looking at about a 2-year return on investment. So it's pretty reasonable when you look at traditional finance and everything. It's not moonshot for a product, but with the way that the market is right now and everything, we're pretty low. We're finding support. So there's a lot of potential to reduce that ROI big time.
Yeah.
And the big thing for us is not to be just in one token. The goal of Mindtopia really is to be diversified throughout
Sure.
a good balance of, let's say, we've got our more stable, Litecoin Doge dual miner purchased and running. Now we're looking at KDA. There's a lot of potential there. We're really trying to pick the best timing, and that's where Westy comes into play. He works with the manufacturer to be able to try to get that sweet spot, so we're not spending too much money up front and impacting our ROI, extending that. So yeah, there are these things. We've already had to put in a couple, emergency 24-hour snapshot votes to try to make a quick decision. And that's actually worked out pretty well. Normally our proposals last for 7 days and then the voting lasts for 3 days. But sometimes when you've got a pre-order coming up and you've got to make a quick change, just like this Gold Shell Bitmain KDA miner situation, we were already had the invoice for Gold Shell, and then Bitminer comes out with this new miner, and it's like, we've got to make a quick move if we're going to be in the best position here in 3 to 4 months to maximize our profit. So yeah, there is a lot there. We're very involved, and that really building a solid community is what we're after. That's we got a long way to go. So
just a quick one in terms of so did the governance decide that the payout would be in stable tokens, or is that just what you guys are thinking at this moment? And the only reason I say that is because I guess the degen in me would be thinking, would I rather be paid out in the token of the miner, let's just say,
yeah,
in
absolutely.
a bear market, on the basis that potentially, in the bull run, they've been worth much more than if I was to be paid whatever the value is in stable tokens as it were right now. I'm just thinking, would that be something to discuss? Is that open for discussion, or is it more you guys? Was that a vote basically that was approved?
So that's what was showcased in the white paper. That's a starting point. Really, we are open to the discussion. The discussion has been brought up, and it is something that we will be talking about and bringing up in a proposal and potentially up to vote. Because, yeah, I mean, this is a DAO. It is really a community decision. You're going to have an 80-20 type of involvement from your holders. You got some people that won't show up for some time. So that's something that, how do you balance, how do you create fairness and create balance for all users based on, let's say, a minority of heavy voters and whatnot. So that's where, when I bring a proposal to the table, I've got to take a lot of things into consideration and try to show pros and cons and balance out
Yes.
the DAO. But yeah, absolutely. For simplicity, and even for tax purposes for the holder, getting a stable token in your wallet would be very simple, very easy on our part. If you chose to turn around and take that money and buy the token, then that could be your choice. There's a little bit more flexibility there, returning a stable token to a holder's wallet, versus, let's say, we're running 3, 4, 5 different types of tokens that require different types of wallets. It could get complex. And really at that point, is the amount of work worth it to the end user? That's something we'll have to talk about and discuss. But yeah, those things are on the table to be talked about and voted on. And really, we work for the DAO. I own some NFTs, but I am a steward of the DAO. I'm not a majority holder. And so that's really where my job is, to develop a community that is able to talk about these things and move forward in a positive direction.
And how does the protocol make revenue? What's the model there? Is the model, because obviously do you plan to launch multiple variations of the NFT, so multiple lines, or is it just going to be one series of NFTs, and then the revenue will be based on, you'll receive a proportion of the miners, or how does the business model work for the protocol?
Yeah, so right now it's 70% of the revenue after your electrical costs and everything back to the community holder. 15% to an expansion wallet. That expansion wallet really is to help the DAO diversify and move into other types of investments, and then 15% back to the maintenance and team wallet to manage expenses such as marketing and potential repairs to miners, and really to have a buffer for those things. So that's a starting point. That's really where we're at right now. We've already had some discussion on the table as to how that looks moving forward, and so those things are open to conversation. And then, yeah, there's, as far as phases right now, our first phase is 1,000 NFTs. We definitely on our roadmap have more phases in mind, and we have other investments. We would like to branch out from just miners. I'm not sure what that looks like right now, and it's really our goal to create, a pitch deck to the DAO if that was the case. Really, if somebody wanted to present a new investment opportunity, it's going to be you got to bring that proposal forward. It's got to be quality. It's got to get a certain amount of positive feedback for us to move it to a vote. So really, it's my job really to kind of create this whole atmosphere and make sure that we're not just degening into stuff, but
Well, we've seen this. Obviously, you've got, I think Metadate Militia is a similar concept. Only obviously theirs is strictly BTC, and I think it's about the market and about getting it out there and getting the buy-in and stuff like that. It's I think we'll wish you well on that journey, and hopefully it's. I like the simplicity of it. I think that's the key thing for me. It's not too complex. It's easy to understand. You buy an NFT, you get a proportion of whatever the miners are paid out, and I think that's that's as simple as it needs to be at this stage, just for kind of my knowledge, at least, that as I'm thinking about it. So there is a few questions coming in. I won't ask them now. I'll wait until the end if that's okay, just because obviously we've got a few projects to get through, and I want to give each project the time on the stage. So Daniel, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for that pitch. It was really cool and kind of nice to get a sense on what you guys are building.
Awesome, appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem at all. Okay, I will give the stage. Awesome. So next up we have, let me see. Bourbon and blockchain. Two things that I love very much. Right. So who's representing Bourbon and blockchain? I believe it is Mr. Maverick. Let me just get you up on the stage, my friend. You okay? How are you?
Wonderful. Haven't started drinking the bourbon yet, but
what a beautifully velvet voice you have. I always think, like, there's a thing for me with projects that it's I don't know what it is. It's all the leads of projects. They all have these velvety, really lovely tonal voices. Anyway, I'm waffling on. Apologies.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll give credit. I'll give credit to the microphone, but no, I appreciate that.
No problem.
First of all, thank you for inviting us, and I think this mega AMA is an awesome concept to give a lot of great projects a platform to get their name out there. We're friends with several people that are talking today, Daniel and Christine being two of them. Great individuals. Mindtopia is a great concept, and yeah, we like what they're doing as a community. Well, so hats off to you guys.
Just because you're new doesn't mean okay, you're not established, but that's not as attractive for what the project stands for and stuff like that, which is why I always think the mega AMAs, they're more geared towards new projects, to give new projects a platform and kind of get the message out there. The singular AMAs, they're more, I guess, towards established projects. But these are a great opportunity for guys like you to come on, talk about what the project is, and inject a bit of innovation into a space that is constantly evolving anyway. And for me personally, it's difficult to keep up to date with everything that's going on in the industry. A lot of us have kind of normal jobs and stuff like that, so it's these for me are a pleasure to do because you get to learn about new projects. So awesome to have you up on the stage.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So just to start us off, I know we're short on time. Before I jump into the project Apex, I just wanted to give everybody just a tiny bit of history about bourbon and blockchains. So at the beginning of the year, the new year, our founder, Draco, which many people in here I'm sure are familiar with within the community, he's been kind of a figurehead, done many really high quality investigative pieces and interviews along the way, as well as Grant Maddock. I want to give them credit. These are the other founders, as well as Jen, which you'll see her in our Discord. But yeah, so these are figureheads that really have been in the game for a long time. And the whole concept behind bourbon and blockchain really stemmed from, hey, we were parts of many communities, and we felt that we could really contribute as to the entire crypto community as a whole by creating kind of a like-minded group of investors, right? But the complication with that, Apex, and I'm sure everybody in here is familiar with, is you get into a large community and people are talking about projects, and as you know, there's like a whole degen aspect to crypto, and it leads potentially a lot of people to ruin, especially whenever you see things at an all-time high. We never wanted to try and monetize it simply for the fact that we didn't feel comfortable shilling or providing insight on projects that we knew probably didn't have staying power. So, you know, fast forward to today, just a couple months ago, I would say about June, Draco and I and Grant were in discussions like, hey, what do we do with bourbon and blockchains? Eyes on what works and we've been to believe in what we think we're kicking off as of now. So just about a month ago, we pivoted our community into a project itself. So without further ado, I'll just jump into that. So we are a NFT as a service protocol, and what we aim to do is strengthen blockchain technology. So that's a loaded word. What does that mean? Well, essentially, we're going to be selling 10,000 NFTs at $500 a piece that are then going to be deployed. The funds will be deployed across a large basket of assets such as validators, master nodes. There's going to be some liquid staking. Really, it's going to be a large, diversified way to get involved within strengthening the blockchain itself. So this is something that as a group, we feel really has the staying power. If you believe in the long-term horizon of blockchain, the growth, and this is the perfect time to do it. In a market that's depressed, you can buy assets at some hope to be an all-time low, and we can deploy them across several different blockchains, and then earn rewards in hopes that when we return to all-time highs, we all are a part of something just awesome. So in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. There's a lot more to add on to that. There's a lot more to the project itself. In fact, we took inspiration from a few other projects that we really liked, but ultimately we think as a community that we have the people, the experience, and the knowledge to really leverage and create something really great in the space. So much like, go ahead, Apex.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just, so when you say strengthen the blockchain, can you break that down for me to make me understand what you mean by strengthen the blockchain?
Yeah, sure. So the basis mechanism, the consensus mechanism on the blockchain, either proof of work or proof of stake, is essential to the existence and the strength of any blockchain. Okay. So ultimately, it's the base layer that provides value to the blockchain, secures it long-term, and makes it functional and feasible. So that's where a lot of the real major players exist within crypto, with a lot of capital, a lot of people such as myself that don't have that personal capital to invest in just large amounts of validators. There's a barrier of entry there that exists. And the majority of people that I think otherwise would be absolutely interested in validating if they had the opportunity. But not only that, when it comes to validating, just as an example. I mean, there's some technological prowess you have to have in order to set up and maintain, right? And not everybody has that knowledge, nor do they want to learn that. So, and then you get on top of hardware requirements. There's a lot of things that go into validating successfully long term. So
I'm gonna pose a term that, and you know, in lieu of not sounding stupid, but you know, when the whole Node as a service or DeFi as a service launched onto the scene, you know, as I understood, Strong was an official Node as a service protocol that, you know, actually ran nodes as a service, whereas then you had, you know, Thor and all these other kind of ones who was really just reinvesting into other protocols, so to speak. So is it, am I on the right kind of thinking path that it's more towards what would you perceive Strong to be, but rather than it being you earn rewards? Or am I on a completely different ball path here?
You're in a completely different ballpark. The whole nodes dilemma really really construed the meaning of what a node really was. All right.
Right.
I mean, this in no way, shape, or form is a Ponzi. There are rewards that are produced by validating on a blockchain.
Yes.
And those rewards vary greatly depending on what blockchain you're supporting. Now, then what we aim to do is take those rewards, just to give you a little bit more insight. Whatever percent rewards we earn from across all those blockchains, we're going to provide just initially a 50% of all rewards back to NFT holders. 45% of those rewards are going to go back into the reinvestment into the protocol, so we can continue to build and grow those validation mechanisms. And then 5% is going to go to the team, because obviously there's maintenance, effort, and a lot of work that goes on in the background to make this happen. So what I do want to highlight for you, though, Apex, although that is the mechanism in which we intend to reward all NFT holders, what we intend to do is we have a sliding mechanism built into the protocol as well, that, hey, listen, the time to take rewards is when we're in a bull run, correct? Always you hear take reward, you know, take your earnings, don't leave them on the table. So what we intend to do, Apex, is to slide the reward mechanism up to 75% to NFT holders, to where we're really accessing and unlocking a lot more value for NFT holders in the bull market. Whereas 20% then is reinvested and 5% goes to the team. So the sliding mechanism, though, is not something that's going to be determined by us. This Bourbon and Blockchain group is founded as a club. All right, NFT, by holding the NFT, it grants you a vote within the club. So very much like a DAO structure, we'll present the opportunities. We'll listen and take feedback from the community, and we'll really lean on their knowledge and expertise, as well as a lot of we have formed several partnerships in the game already that are very trusted individuals and groups that we're kind of using as advisors too, because hey, there's a wealth of knowledge that exists even outside of the 3 or 4 founders that we have. So it's a really exciting opportunity.
Yeah.
Just to highlight to Apex, there's a lot more detail to this that I don't want to steal everybody else's time, but I'd encourage everybody to jump over into the Discord. And we're also kicking off, we're going to be doing Bourbon and Blockchain Happy Hour twice a week. We used to do it in the past where we just talked about, we actually kicked it off last night. So if you want to go learn more about like what we're doing right this second, where the project stands from a development perspective, we kicked that off last night. We'll be continuing it every 3 days. You'll see one pop up. And beyond that, just look forward to getting to know the communities and let them know we exist, who we are. And, if I was able to, now we're all going to be doxxed. It's going to be very public, and just look forward to getting to know everybody at a much deeper level.
There's a lot about what you've spoke about, which is quite exciting, if I'm honest. But I have a ton of questions, but I know I can't ask them all now because it would be unfair. But just have a thought to think about this. There's a few things that I'd like to kind of understand, and maybe we'll pick it up at the end when we get some questions. So the number one is how lucrative are the mining rewards? Not the mining rewards, but the validating rewards rather.
Yeah,
that's the first thing. I'd like to kind of understand that, and what does that mean on different blockchains? The second thing I'd like to know is how does it scale? So practicality wise, is this in a data center somewhere where you are adding, and again, I'm speaking not from a place of real deep knowledge on how this works, but I'd be keen to understand how you scale this, and one validator node becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 20, becomes 100, or what does that look like? Maybe not right now, but just have a think about that there. But it's a really exciting kind of thing. And then for me, just understanding how different it truly is that to what, say, Strong was doing. Because again, I'm trying to understand the parallels between what I thought, as a validator, you are essentially holding the transactional data and making sure, whether it's proof of work or proof of stake, that the validation of that timestamp of that data is the same as what's on that node network. And if it's different, I'd like to kind of understand what that is, just from my perspective. But
yeah, absolutely. Really, I don't want to give you long drawn out answers at the moment, but I'd be happy to give you more insight, Apex. So I'll hold off till the end though.
Yeah, brilliant job. Really, really exciting stuff. And yeah, really appreciate you coming on the stage. And no doubt, as I say, depending on where we are, I mean, I've said an hour. I'm okay to go for the bit, as long as anyone else fancies just shooting the piece with you guys. So I'll. But really, really good stuff and great job.
Hey, thank you very much
for your time on the stage, my friend. Okay, let me see who is next. So, I need to see what time it is. Where my good friend BBC4N opener. Okay. We have, I think I've invited you on the stage from Bad Bunnies. Yes, how are you, my friend?
Good here. It's 20 to 8 now, so that's fine.
Not too bad then. I hope you've got a cup of coffee.
Hang on, I just didn't hear that from you then. Give us a sound check.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
guys.
funny.
Someone just drop a message to see. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just very low. But look, I think
apologies.
at least for this phase, it'll be me chatting away, so I can hear you well enough to hear a question.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much, obviously,
if
for
you
coming
want me
on the
to just
stage.
dive in, I'll certainly keep it to the point around, particularly what your audience may be interested in. But Bad Bunnies started as a PFP NFT project in the mold of many others. We always had the goal of blockchain gaming as the end point, rather than here's a profile pic project that is really about identity and community, and of course we want to be about that as well. But the blockchain gaming industry is a massive industry, and the potential there, as we see it, is it's early days. In 5 to 10 years from now, looking back on this period, we're going to be early. And so our first NFTs were 5,500 randomly generated, hand-drawn bunnies with gaming aspects. So they had special moves, attack, hit points, etc. And so once we sold out in a couple of days, and then just went straight to work on building a physical TCG first. We're all veterans of multi-million-dollar projects in various fields, and we've seen money just disappear out the door as you're developing whatever the project may be. And so we started with paper and scissors and a printer, and really kind of pushed through a lot of the mechanics of what we need. With the most easily iterated form on the planet, which is your hands and bits of paper and pens and scissors. And we really kind of got the basics of our game together and released it as a physical TCG. that's available now on our website, badbunnies.xyz. And that formed the basis for what we're doing now. And this is probably good timing too, because in a week's time, we're going to show the first, I wouldn't call it alpha yet, but we've built the first version in Unity, and we've got a playable prototype to show our community and the wider world next week. And yeah, I'm happy to say it's good. And original, and we're really proud of it. Yeah, and so look, the what's really also gone on behind the scenes as we've developed the game, apart from what you can see on the website now, which is there's packs, booster packs available, digital booster packs of 5 cards of various rarity. We've got a beautiful pack opening experience like Top Shot or whoever else is out there in the market. Randomized cards that come out in the pack of various rarity. And we've got a whole slew of features and functions coming out even before the game that add value to those cards that you gain. So coming probably within the next week or two is Fusing, which is a standard value prop from Gods Unchained, which is a huge success in the blockchain gaming industry. Fusing is you essentially take 2, 3 or 4 cards of the same type and burn them to create a new one, which has a shinier foil to it. It's like, say in Pokemon, you have a standard card, but then you may have something that's holographic. So it's of that ilk. And so all of these kind of upgrade functions to your cards and in this early phase are all accessed via our in-game currency called Cabbage. Cabbage is something bunnies are into. So it's really just this, your Cabbage drops from card packs, so randomly. Lesser drops in common rare card packs, and higher drops of Cabbage in the higher value card packs. And that's the kind of beginning of our in-game economy there, about how to access Cabbage to then access upgrades and so on. And just to kind of cut through to the value prop of Bad Bunnies when it comes to these cards and the game itself, is we have 3 tracks of rewards. And so there's a free track where just by effort you gain XP through the website from playing mini games, by playing the beta when it's released early next year, and a bunch of other smaller quest type scenarios. You can gain XP, and along that XP track there's rewards from hero cards, special cards that you can't get anywhere else, that can only be accessed via effort. And so from a persona perspective, you can say that that's a low cash poor, time rich persona. So that's someone who can put in the time to create value there. Then from a paid perspective, you can boost your XP, and the rewards along that track are for someone with a cash rich, time poor scenario. So they can jump in and, like Fortnite or anything, pay for a battle pass or whatever it is to access rewards right there and then. And that's a particular reward track. Whatever you get on that track is not something you get in the free, and vice versa. And then later we'll have staking of the original Bad Bunnies NFTs that will produce passive Cabbage that can then be used for upgrades, also sold within our marketplace to those that are low on Cabbage and need to perform upgrades. And also there'll be a rewards track for those Bad Bunnies NFTs of specialist cards, emotes, and a whole range of other rewards like that. Plus, Bad Bunnies holding various levels of Bad Bunnies NFTs gives you monthly pack rewards as well. So, so look, that's really the kind of value prop in terms of Bad Bunnies and the gaming environment that we're creating at the moment. And later that will all amp up once we have the kind of beta out. But prior to that, there's plenty of options to kind of get in early and start acquiring cards, building decks, and upgrading those cards within this kind of phase where certainly the upgrade options are going to be much cheaper than they are once we reach beta stage and the like. So, yeah, look, hopefully that's a good background of who we are and what we're doing.
Just, for you personally and maybe what, the team, what would you measure the project as a success? What would it take for you to deem the project a success? If you had a crystal ball and you could see 6-12 months down the line, what does success look like?
So success looks like it's pretty straightforward. 2 parts. One would be selling out this first Genesis collection, which is 233 cards across those standard rarity of common, rare, epic, and legendary. This is our first Genesis collection. So certainly selling out that collection, which selling out would be about 10 million USD. And then the beta is really just players. There's some good success stories in blockchain gaming there, from picking up 50,000 players over a period of 6 months that then, based on the quality of the offering, soon becomes 250,000 players within a month. So we're certainly tracking a lot of other projects as to what success means. And certainly selling out a collection, which is tens and tens of thousands of cards. And then just making sure we have that player base so that when you jump on and play, there's someone to play with and it's fun and engaging, and you're able to earn the rewards that you need to continue the evolution process of your characters, your cards, and your whole gaming experience.
Just for my benefit, because I'm not as tuned into the gamification side on blockchain just yet. I've always had it in my head that when someone gets the gamification piece right, a Fortnite or Call of Duty or some sort of game that's can be blockchain based, and it's decentralized in the true term of skins can be swapped and traded and there's real value in because people want to use them for certain boosts and whatever else in the game. I feel like if you get that piece right first, the rest looks after itself. What you mentioned there, that there is projects that have already seen success on the blockchain in terms of the gamification. What would you say they are, just for my benefit, just so I understand? Because maybe it's my naivety. I don't know if I've seen anything that in the gamification space yet. Anyway, at least for what I'm thinking of the type of games would be a success.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. So look, success-wise, so you're 100% on the money about what you just said there, which is what we're aiming for and it's probably a really good point in that Fortnite, Call of Duty, the simplicity of their monetization it's just gold, right? Like, hey, buy this battle pass, here are the skins, show off in game, right? Like, we've all done it. We've all jumped on and gone. And again, that's evidence of a cash rich, time poor persona. I don't have the time to get all that XP, to get that gun and that skull mask in Call of Duty. Here's $60. Give it to me now. And so like if we just hold that thought off on Gods Unchained, which is a huge success, just closed $200 million in funding. They have a $500 million development fund that we're applying to next week. We built on their platform, Immutable, which is layer 2, Ethereum. Huge success. But an interesting thing in gaming is that cards as they are, whether it be Gods Unchained, Off-Chain, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, all of these other games, you can't do too much to the cards because someone buys the card and says, that's, you know, I've bought this card. It has to stay exactly like this. And they're often a bit of artwork, some stats, some information. That's the card. What the hell can you do to that? Well, because the basis of our game, our game grid is more like chess. The bunnies move around. It's a like checkers, they move diagonally. If they get boost, they can move forward. It's a lot like checkers and chess. And then the cards themselves, if everyone goes and has a look, are bunnies, right? Who are wearing traits. So we then, one of the core mechanics is matching, like Uno, colors, the same face, the same hat, the same shirt, etc. What that's given us, which I think is going to be our success in the whole Call of Duty Fortnite, here's a simple battle pass, $60, buy this and you get all these skins and so on, is we can change cards. We can change the shirt that bunny's wearing. We can change this, we can change that, and you can get all these great upgrades and skins to upgrade your cards. And it doesn't actually affect the mechanics of the game. And it doesn't become play to win and stuff like that. So that's something that's not available to these other card games. They're just, where are they going to use skins? There's the cards are, you know, some archer holding their bow firing at something, and that's the card. For us, we've got these bunny characters that have history and stories and character and all of that. And it's much like your Fortnite character or your Call of Duty character and skin. So that's what we're really excited about.
Last one from me. I'm just unsure why you went with cabbage and not carrots for the bunnies.
Well, see, so that's the thing. So carrots will be our token later, where the in-game currency is something that we believe we can control now. It's not a token. It's an NFT that is tradable on our marketplace, and it's certainly something we can control now. Where we've been in the process for a long time, which you could imagine yourself. As we looked into carrots, our token, there's so many things that we could get wrong that we've just focused on getting the game right, getting the in-game currency right. And once that's done, we'll release the token carrots, and that will then move to replace ETH in-game. So a upgrade of a card, say next week or the week after when we release fusing, we'll take a small amount of ETH, probably $3 worth of ETH and a certain amount of cabbage to enact the upgrade to the new foil, be it gold or diamond or whatever that may be. And so once we release a token next year, that will replace the ETH element in our system. So much as Gods Unchained have the token gods, but that's still to come. We've got a bunch of other stuff to get right first.
Very good. Well, I know it's always difficult, with these kind of short pitches to kind of get as much detail as perhaps you want in, and it's obviously there's lots to kind of discuss with this. So, that being said, obviously from our perspective, we wish you every success with this. It's a difficult space, and for me, it's always the gamification piece that will probably be the thing. If it's playable and it's enjoyable and it's repeatable and there's an addictive element to it, it's potentially an overnight success. So obviously at this stage it's still in beta. I'm keen to see how you guys kind of bring that to market, and excited for your journey. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it's early for you as well. So maybe you can go back to bed.
No, I'm all right. Look, thanks for having us, Apex, and thanks to
No problem
everyone
at
else.
all.
It's really interesting. I'm up now. I've got a 18-month-old, so I've been up since like 6, so all good. But
Well, look,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, look, if you're sticking around, I mean, I'm monitoring the AMA question channel as well. I mean, there may be bits and pieces that filter through at some point. If you're around, maybe just stick around. Maybe you can answer a few. But at the end, as I say, we'll be doing some Q&A anyway, if anyone wants to kind of come up and ask some questions. So thank you very much for your time. I'll take you off the stage.
Sticking around for sure.
Good man. And then we'll bring up Ghost Life. So thank you very much. Okay. Ghost Life. Who is representing Ghost Life? Obviously, HX Ghost Life. Let me just bring you up. Welcome to the stage.
How's it going?
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Not bad. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Thanks. No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Sorry, I don't have too much time here, but yeah, I just want to let you guys know what we're about quickly, if I could.
Absolutely. Stage is yours.
Yeah, so on the front end, we're a lifestyle apparel brand. We're building out that company and brand. On the back end, we are building out a branding and branding agency art house. So in the middle of that, we're looking to provide Web3 solutions for artists and businesses. The NFT that we're doing is kind of like a template of the service that we're going to end up providing for others. So with the NFT that we're doing, it's going to essentially be a membership into our brand. We've been around since January this year, and obviously the ecosystem has changed quite a bit, and we've evolved with the times. We launched our first Genesis collection in about April time, and we decided to rebrand the artwork a little bit, and we pulled back and continued building, and now we're coming back out with the 2099 collection, which is more of a what do you say? Like it's more of a showcase of what our artist HC is capable of, and we've left it in his hands to kind of create a story, and he just created this whole like universe around this collection. So that's going to be like our membership as well as like a collectible piece. And yeah, I don't know what else.
What so if as an NFT owner, what do I, if I buy an NFT, what do I, as an investor, let's just say, what do I own, or what's my way to make money on this? Or is it more that I get exclusive access to, the clothing and things like that?
Yeah, so the way I picture, like personally, what I'm working on and what we're working on is more of like the way rewards and points programs are already existing with traditional brands and companies right now. Like every brand has already got a points program. So we're looking at how to implement that with Web3. So like creating more exclusive feeling with these brands, like they can take their community and sell them an NFT that gives them more gated value, or just the same thing that they're doing with their rewards program already, and just switching it over to a Web3 situation. So like the reason I'm looking at artists is because I look at, and I'm saying artists as in like musicians and like, producers, guys like that who are trying to get themselves off the ground. It's really difficult for those guys to make or like bring revenue in through their platforms. Like they're always creating content and putting it out on social media or YouTube or whatever these things are, and like they're getting a very small cut from these platforms to do that. And, you know, we're looking at creating a branding solution for these guys, so we can create a website, do their logos, do their artwork, do everything. And then if they have a following of 5,000, 10,000 people, then they can go and put an NFT out to their community, like, and the supply can be relative to whatever their community is, you know, the demand is to their community. But they can then, you know, create more of like a direct way to like communicate with their community. You know, like I look at NFTs and everything that we're doing here, like look at the community building that we're all doing. Like it's super easy and to just talk to people, right? So, and I feel like for so long, like social media and all these things, it's very difficult to message people or reach out to people and kind of build a real network. And I see Web3 as like everybody here is trying to do something, and everybody's looking for other people to talk to who are doing things. So the accessibility to reaching out with people is just endless. So
it almost feels like it's almost like you guys are, you know, what you would consider like a label of sorts, where, you know, artists would effectively sign up, but what they get as a value as signing up is access to a community. Is that a fair assessment, or am I off with that? Is it almost like that kind of
like I guess like I don't want to be labeled as a label, because that's the whole thing, is we're trying to provide like
a decentralized label.
I don't want to take a cut of what we provide to somebody. It's more of like a one-time fee, and if somebody wants to continue us, then yeah, we can. But it's more, I look at this as enabling people who are trying to get their platforms off the ground, and they don't have the means to go and make their website or do their graphic design or all that stuff.
Sure.
We can do it. We can hand over a platform for them that's ready to go, whether it's connected with an NFT or Web3 token or any of that, or just a traditional e-commerce Web2 website, you know. But just, we're looking to just be able to provide that service for people, and mainly artists, but for business brands, whoever's trying to get themselves out there.
And how do you filter out the noise, in the sense of, you know, you don't just want to work with anyone. You obviously you'll have standards that you guys want to uphold as people that you'll bring along. So how are you vetting your, let's say, artists? What kind of process do you guys go through in terms of being able to bring someone on, or what will that be, I guess, in the future?
Well, the one guy that we are working with, and we are building like a lot of the template sort of stuff that we're looking to implement with, we met him just through our community, probably in March time. And I'm from Ottawa in Canada, and he's from Toronto. So we connected through Instagram, and I've worked with a few artists in the past, like obviously nobody major or anything, but people who are, you know, I've worked with a few people designing their merch, designing their artwork. This is where I kind of developed this idea. And to me, it's about just energy. Like, it's just talking to somebody and understand, like, it's just, you know, we're small in the sense is like, we're a team of like 5 guys right now. We do plan on adding some more people to the group, but we are going to be that selective. Like, we're looking to work with people we vibe with, you know, like people that are also going to push their, like, you know, we want to put in the work, and we want them to put in the work. We don't want to just go and provide this service to somebody and then see them do nothing with it, right? So somebody who's passionate about what they're doing, and we get along with them. You know, the team gets along, we can mesh with them, and we can try and turn it into a long-term relationship.
Yeah, look, the space is about innovation, isn't it? And like you say, Web3, blockchain, the whole smart contract concept, it's really about, can you define an idea that can be turned into an investment that's, you know, decentralized? And this is where the world's changing. And I think the innovation piece is just key. I always say it's just about thinking of what an idea could be, and then turning that into something practical. And based on what you think, and that's a concept that you're running with, and obviously from your perspective, it's or our perspective rather, we wish you well. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, like we're more in this idea of like, instead of creating like an investment token or something that you're gonna be building, like gaining like all this ROI on or anything, it's more like we want to build a strong community of people that we can kind of rely on, people who are doing the same sort of things or similar things, and we can all work together. Like at the end of the day, people are spending endless amounts of money on entertainment all day, every day, and they're never looking for ROI on that. So I think as the space continues to grow, people are going to be more like, that's more traditional sort of ideas are going to come into play, and like they're going to be bridging that. How are we going to make this come into the Web3 space? So I don't know. I think we're just looking at a very like not simple but realistic and sustainable way of building out a business, and just building a community around that, and giving them some dope artwork, dope whatever we're making. We're gonna make it dope as fuck and put our hearts and soul into it. And
Yeah, well, it's 100% or 0%, and there's no, there's nothing in between. You either put everything you can into it, or you don't put nothing into it. Otherwise, it's doomed to fail from the start, and that's true in everything, isn't it? So yeah, no, brilliant. Really appreciate your time coming up on the stage, and obviously you're relatively new, which is cool, and I'm excited to see where you guys go over the next few months. So best of luck, and make sure you pop in and keep us up to date on how you're getting on.
100%, man. Thanks for having us here. And yeah, if you guys ever want to check us out, we're doing a Twitter space every morning at 10 a.m. So if you guys want to jump in, and it's nothing huge. We're just having coffee and talking. So anytime, man, we're here. We're accessible. You can talk to us anytime.
Awesome. Now listen, just as a quick point, guys, if you've been on the stage, please post your link to your Discord or any links that you want to post in the AMA questions channel. When I done the original announcement, which was a week or so ago, I did post everyone's Discord link, but please feel free to drop it, in the AMA questions channel, just so people can get a word of how to get in contact with you guys as well. Okay, well, thank you very much. I shall take you off the stage, and I think we've got Only Burns up next, if that's right. Yeah. All right. Who's representing Only Burns, please? No one? Someone? It's Cyril. It's Cyril, right? Okay, well, let's skip that for now. Is Drew about? Yeah. Hey, Drew.
Yeah. Oh man, hey, I stay ready. That's why I put my hand up. I was like, hey, on his spot, we got it.
Listen, I owe you a massive apology first and foremost. Just for everyone's benefit, me and Drew maybe started speaking it was a few weeks ago actually. It was before we launched Infinity, and we was trying to organise getting things set up, and just with everything that was going on with Infinity launch and everything else, it just you know what it's like. It just passes you by. But number one, I'm really pleased to have obviously Drew up on the stage today. We're also inviting Drew back as a singular AMA. I think that event's actually in the planet as well. So yeah, excited to have you here, Drew, and thank you very much for your patience, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, I know how it goes. At the end of the day, I got to apologize to you too, because I know that I missed our call because I got on the wrong call, and for some reason the person showed up an hour early, which was odd. But yeah, I was super jacked whenever Steve from Yield Nodes linked us up. That's how we got in contact, and man, that was awesome. So I appreciate you bringing me on the stage.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So from let's maybe just from someone who doesn't know anything about you, obviously, and I think majority of people will know you're a YouTuber, but you've obviously started a project. Number one, why did you start a project? And then if you can dive into kind of what the project is and what it's trying to solve.
Possible, essentially. Kind of made my bones doing that, and then everybody always comes for me and they're like, oh, if you're so smart, why don't you do one? And I was like, cool, Wolfer Finance, baby, let's get it. So we kind of took a similar model as your guy, right, Steve, from Yield Nodes, where they're masternoding everything that they own, right? And I was like, all right, all these fake nodes, that's kind of where I made my bones, was all these, calling out, telling people these are just RPC endpoints, which means absolutely nothing, right? It's the same thing as doing like an API call, right? That's what an RPC is. So whole point is most people didn't know that. And so that's where I started going in on these guys. And I said, hey, you want to know what a real validator node is? I'm going to do an 18 video tournament on it. And I did this thing called the Wolfer Wars Nodes tournament, kind of got everybody familiar with nodes, and then everybody showed a lot of interest. So that sprung Wolfer Finance back in early May. We came out with a validator node and masternoding protocol where we now have DAG nodes, AVAX validator, ETH validators, FTM validators. We even have a SAF validator, right? Sapphire, gotta give Steve his props. Kronos validator, all this stuff, right? And then it was a massive success, right? And we're doing the whole compounding thing where it's like, yeah, we've got, you guys have heard it all before, right? It's the 50% goes to the token holders, 45% gets, reinvested, all that stuff, right? We're trying to deliver value to our people that wouldn't necessarily be able to afford a $500,000 Kronos validator node. Now, Wolfer Finance is done. We sold out in 17 days. It's smashing success. It was awesome. Larry, who is the brainchild behind Presyn, came to me and said, hey, Drew, I like the way you did this. I like the non-Ponzi-nomic aspect of it. I like that, basically you did this by yourself on a, 1,500, 2,000 subscriber YouTube channel. It was pretty awesome. And I was like, all right, cool. What do you need from me? And then he kind of pitched it to me and said, hey, this is Presyn. So out of the ashes of a DeFi, apocalypse springs the phoenix of Presyn, right? And it comes to market. So most people, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say pretty much everybody in this room, right? There's 70 some odd people in here. You've either lost money in crypto, like due to not of your own accord, not because you decided like, hey, I'm going to invest in this DGen play and I'm just taking the risk, right? It's because you sent some money across the wrong chain and you may have lost your USDC, or you may have lost some Matic from the Polygon chain because you accidentally sent it to an ETH wallet, right? So this has happened to pretty much everybody. And I couldn't believe that this isn't a thing, right? But then I kind of dove a little deeper into it and I understood. I was like, okay, why isn't this a thing? Well, because it's hard, okay? It's hard to do. It's not something that's easy. It's software. It's all these integrations. It's all these different functionalities. It's these tech. You got to front run the transactions. You got to make it easy for people, because in this market, if it's not easy, people don't care, right? And then I was like, okay, that's why this isn't a thing, because this is actually hard to do. It's much harder than to just go out and do the next best tomb fork and give people 1,000,000% APY until it plummets into oblivion, right? So this one kind of made sense from a fundamental perspective. I don't even like using the word utility because I think it gets overused. So I'm not going to say that Presyn has utility. I'm going to say it actually has a problem that it is solving in the market, and there's a use case for it, and we charge a fee for that. Same thing as like if you go to PayPal, you want to pay something with your credit card on PayPal, you got to pay the PayPal fee, right? So if you want us to protect your transactions, we're going to charge you a fee to protect said transactions going into exchanges, out of exchanges, to other wallets on other chains, coins you might not know are accepted in said wallet, right? Where this stuff has happened to so many people in so many different facets of this market that it's absolutely insane. And it's tremendous the amount of transactions. Binance literally said they quote about 800 transactions get lost coming into or out of Binance every day.
We've had so many of the same issues where,
Yeah.
you know, they sent it directly from Binance to our contract, and Binance doesn't recognize MDB because it's not a token on their chain. On their platform, because it's not on the central exchange, and there's nothing we can do. You know, they have to then go to Binance and stuff like that.
Yeah, except for pay them like $10 million to list you, which is ridiculous.
So I understand it then, Drew. So what you're essentially providing is a service where if you go through you're protected against incorrect transactions, not transactions that are promiscuous in the sense that you're interacting with a contract that's out to, you know, do nefarious tactics. It's more an incorrect transaction, you know, wrong chain. So you guys are essentially protecting from that issue. So if it goes to that, what is it? Can you recover that back, or what's the magic sauce that prevents the error?
Man, I love the reference, man, because I always used to say in all my videos, Drew's secret sauce, right? And so this is the secret sauce behind pre-send. That transaction never goes out. So once it hits the blockchain, there's no bringing it back, right? It never hits the blockchain. We intercept said transaction. We run all of our checks, and then basically we intercept the transaction and say, hey, we're gonna run our checks. If everything's good, it's gonna go through. No news is good news, right? It goes through. But if you get that that notification that pops up and says, hey, you're sending on the wrong chain, or this wallet doesn't accept this coin or something like that, then yeah, you're going to get that notification and your transaction is going to get canceled. See what I'm saying? So say you're sending $100, our fee is 0.1% of the entire transaction. So if you're sending $100, you're going to pay us 10 cents. So if you send a $100 transaction and it's on the wrong chain, you have one of two options. You can either, one, just be cool and pay us the 0.1% and be, you know, covered, or two, you can lose your whole $100. So with us, you lose 10 cents, but guess what? That 10 cents that you just lost actually saved you $99.90, and that is your next 833 transactions worth $100 on pre-send, right? And so, like, this thing is so needed in this market, and you can make money off of this too. Pre-send doesn't just save people money, it also makes people money, right? So there's another way that you can, you know, take advantage of this, where pre-send has like 4 different ways, man. And we can get to that more into the AMA whenever we have like the AMA on Tuesday, where it's just us. But there's like 4 ways where pre-send pays for itself, man. It's so ridiculously awesome that I can't believe it hasn't come out yet. But I understand why it hasn't, because it's very tough to create something like this.
It's innovation again, which the space needs. Security elements. I've got a couple of questions for you. So first one is, can you give an example, or as many examples as you can of what an actual incorrect transaction looks like, and in terms of, is it only just sending to a wrong chain? Because are there already stops that? Well, I guess that wouldn't be the case, because if you're going to send BNB or whatever to an address, whether it's on using MetaMask, let's just say, rather than a central exchange like, say, Crypto.com or Binance or whatever, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's any mitigating steps that prevents you from sending to any address, actually. So is that the main problem, essentially, what you're trying to remove, or is there anything else that is classed as an incorrect transaction?
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so there's the ones where, okay, so you could be sending out of a wallet. Here's the issue that we have with everything is built on Ethereum, dude. Like everything, right? AVAX, FTM, Polygon, Cosmos, all of it, man. So like, the problem that you run into is that everything that's built on Ethereum is a 0x wallet, right? So every 0x wallet actually says that it accepts every 0x coin, even though that wallet might not accept that chain or coin, right? So for example, here's what you were asking. Say you're sending your BNB on ETH chain or whatever, Binance Smart Chain, doesn't matter really which way you do it. If you send BNB from your MetaMask to your Coinbase wallet that doesn't house BNB, right? And you just, this simple human error, man. Everybody does it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. It's not, nobody should be embarrassed about doing this stuff. It just happens, man. It's like whenever you just slip and fall accidentally, it just happens. It's an accident. So you could literally send BNB from your MetaMask on ETH or on Binance Smart Chain, and it's going to tell you you can send that. Your ETH or your MetaMask wallet is going to say, yep, that's cool, transactions going through. And then Coinbase doesn't even have BNB. They don't have it on the exchange. So if you're sending it to your exchange wallet, you're popped, you're done, right? And then same thing happens with whenever you're sending, okay, so say what I do, this is a very specific example for me, right? This is how I almost lost like $70,000 one time, man. I was trying to buy a Gala node, okay? And I had to bring all my money in through Coinbase because I'm American. I'm from Miami. So when I was sending the Polygon or the Matic out of my Coinbase, their Matic is on ETH. So I was sending it to KuCoin because I couldn't buy Gala on Coinbase. Yeah. Coinbase doesn't have that many coins, right? So you want to send to KuCoin, Binance, Binance US, whatever. And if I picked the Polygon chain because I'm like, oh, it's Matic, it's coming out. All right, Polygon wallet, cool. I send like my little $5 or 5 cent or 5 whatever transaction, and it never shows up. I lost that money, right? Thank God I didn't send the 70K because that would have just been gone in the cryptocurrency intergalactic black hole that literally everybody's funds are in, right? So all these wallets say that they accept it, but that doesn't mean that they do. It doesn't mean that it's on the right chain, first off. And if it is on the wrong chain, some wallets you can recover it, but you got to go to the Dead Sea and grab some sand and bring it to them and then cook them dinner and do all this stuff in order to be able to get them to want to recover your crypto, right? So that's inefficient. Sending the test transaction, also inefficient. Say you're sending $1,000, it costs $1 to do that with us, but it costs you 15 minutes of your time to send a test transaction. I don't know a lot of people. Actually, I know 0 people. I'll just put it like that. I know 0 people who would say that 15 minutes of their time is not worth $1, right? I could get on the phone with my mom in Illinois and talk to her for 15 minutes. I would much rather do that and pay $1 to be able to talk to my mom for the 15 seconds than be able to then have to be glued to my computer wondering if my transaction's going to show up. See what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like there's a lot of different ways that this thing can help protect people. And a lot of it's going to come down to exchanges. And that's what we're targeting. We're targeting what we want to do. At the end of the day, we want to protect the end user, right? But the ultimate goal for us is to protect the end user all day, because the hashtag boomers are coming, baby. Boomers are coming, and they got to feel secure in this market if they're going to pump billions and billions of dollars. Same thing with traditional financial institutions. They don't feel comfortable here. It's not safe. It's not secure. There's too many scammers, and there's too many ways to lose your money, right? So this is one way to stop that from happening. Now, if we can integrate with Coinbase and license pre-send, because it is proprietarily patented and it will be fully patented once the Chrome extension is out, man, we're going to be protecting everybody coming in and out of the exchanges, right? And we've got this code line built in. It's called like a RFK or something like that. I don't remember. Jace is probably going to punch me in the face if I botch this. But essentially, and that's our dev's name, Jace. And essentially, they take the line of that code and it's a plug and play for their system. So what we can do is we can go to Coinbase and say, hey, do you want to protect your people's transactions coming out of Coinbase? All right, here you go. It's plug and play. And then we still get paid our fees. So we want to license this out to the big exchanges. And that way we don't have to come in and beat pavement trying to protect everybody's transactions on all of these platforms. We can literally get them to play ball with us and say, hey, why aren't you doing this? Because if you do it the way that we're asking and you just charge the fee and maybe you pay us $1 million, $2 million, $10 million a year, I bet they pay way more than that in support tickets for people that have lost their money. See what I'm saying? So we're actually going to save them money too. So Yeah,
You know,
man,
I
it's
was
pretty
thinking,
slick.
yeah, it's an amazing idea. You know, I've been thinking about it just as we're talking, and I was thinking to myself, you know, who are you targeting? Who would be the key demographic? And initially, I thought to myself, well, obviously, newbies coming into the scene, they're the ones who are most at risk for making these, you know, repeatable mistakes. But then I thought to myself, actually, I done it myself about 2 weeks ago, where I think I'd sent USDC to Avalanche rather than USDCE, and it was gone. I'd lost it. It just disappeared. I couldn't. I tried to add the coin into MetaMask. It didn't show up. I thought, what an idiot. It's a simple mistake. Just, you know, you do it fast. You think you're transacting all the time when I guess you're more savvy with how to deal with. But it happens even to, you know, more seasoned people within the
Yeah,
space.
man.
I don't
I
even
just
think it
did
just
it
targets
too.
that demographic. Yeah, it's absolutely.
I've been in the market since 2014, man. I just did the same thing with USDC on Polygon chain, and I sent I think I sent Polygon chain USDC to an ETH wallet, didn't get accepted. See what I'm saying? Lost hundreds of dollars. You know, and I've been in the market since 2014. Dude, like, I don't care what anybody says. All these Reddit bros that are like, I've never lost money. I'll never lose money. I'm infallible, blah, blah, blah. Dude, bull. You have and you will, because there's going to be that one time that you're sitting there doing something and your wife walks by looking real hot, right, in her bathing suit or something, or your kid comes up and spills a drink on you, and then you just accidentally, right, but you just fat finger something. It's accidental. It's not a big deal. It happens, man. And I think there's this big, like, it's this big thing in the market where nobody wants to admit that they've lost some money accidentally by sending on the wrong chain. But dude, I think almost everybody has done it. And if you haven't done it, it's because you are so ridiculously hyper vigilant about it that you're doing like 6 checks before you send it. That's mad inefficient, man. And if you could protect it for $1 or $2, like, man, why would you want to like go through all those checks? It just makes no sense. If we're going to do it for you, automate it. And then here's another thing. If you own an NFT, a pre-send NFT, and they're only $250, man, we're not talking $10,000 NFTs here. $250 NFT, you literally have 0 fees on pre-send in that wallet that owns that NFT for life. You never have to pay a pre-send NFT, or you never have to pay a pre-send fee, right? And, you know, people are like, oh, well, why are you raising money? Well, why would crypto.com want to raise money, right? Like, we got to tell people that this is a thing, you know, like we have to be able to go out and take this to market. And I don't know if people think that software just falls from the sky, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't. God didn't just, you know, wake up on the 8th day and say, hey, here's the Apple iPhone, right? Somebody had to develop that, and it cost money because it took time to do that and resources. Same thing with this software. You know, so we raise money to be able to further develop this, be able to go out and actually, you know, bring this to the global market, right? And we're speaking at the Dubai Blockchain Summit about this, like in like a week or something like that. I think I fly out like next Thursday or something. Yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, people have the opportunity to not only save money, but make money, and then not have to pay any, you know, fees, because that NFT, and it's public right now, anybody can mint an NFT. They're already like 50% gone, so you know, you might want to hurry. But whole point is, it also gives you access to a dividend pool, because that's the next question that everybody's going to have. Well, why does this matter? I know what I can do to save money. How does it make money for me? Because that's all really people care about in this market, is how can I get rich? How can I make money, right? Well, you can make money because if pre-send's bringing in tens of millions of dollars off of these hundreds of millions of transactions every single year, and you own an NFT, which gives you access to a dividend pool that pays you out every single month a portion of the pre-send income that comes in off of protecting these transactions, then that's another way that your NFT is literally paying for itself. Pre-send is paying you to protect yourself, and then also to help fund the company, right? At least in the early going, because obviously we won't be selling NFTs, you know, a year from now whenever pre-sends in Coinbase and Binance US and stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, and there's milestone bonuses. I've never heard of anybody doing this, where, because our stuff isn't fake. We don't have a chain. We don't have a coin. We have no ability to fake our income, right? So we can't print more tokens. We can't do nothing like that. So at the end of the day, when that income comes in, if we hit a milestone in terms of like active users, and those start at literally 50,000 active users, that's not a lot of active users, right? There's 30 million MetaMasks right now. And most of those people have like 2, 3, 5 wallets, right? So there could be 150 million MetaMask for all we know. So in terms of that, every time we hit an active user milestone, which starts at 50,000, goes to 100, 250, 500, 750, 1 mil, 2.5, 5 mil, 7.5, 10 mil. And then it just keeps going, right? Forever until we take over the entire world. Doubles up the dividend pools every single month, right? So all the people that are in those dividend pools, if we hit a milestone bonus, they make double. It's nuts, man. Like, and that's because we want them to go out and beat pavement for us and like go preach the pre-send gospel, right? So if they're doing that, then we spend less on marketing. Well, we might as well pay them because they just went and marketed it for us. See what I'm saying?
It's pure organic marketing. It's exactly how it works. But listen, the key thing, I want you to save some juice for the main AMA, okay?
Let's get it. Yeah, man.
So, but I do have one more question, though, matey. If which I'm keen to know. Number one, let's just put one thing straight. I don't think I've seen this anywhere in any concept to what this is. I think it's an awesome idea, just from my own opinion. I'd like to know how it integrates into the various wallets, whether it's, is it mobile compliant if you're using it on MetaMask? How does that work on there? Do you have to access your platform first? Just talk to me about how you actually interact with your system in order to get that kind of security.
No, that's a great question, man. It's really hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. At first, we were like, let's do MetaMask Flask, and then we realized that if you're MetaMask Flask, that's actually a totally separate wallet from MetaMask. So then we would have to ask our users, hey, don't use MetaMask anymore. You have to use MetaMask Flask. We didn't think that was fair, so we nixed that idea. We actually created our own Chrome extension that integrates fully, just like a DEX, right? Okay, so you know how whenever you go into a DEX and it'll tell you how much Binance coin you have in your MetaMask balance. That's the same thing with pre-send. Ours is a Chrome extension and it's right next to MetaMask, right? And it's just a P, green P with some little angel wings because it's your cryptocurrency guardian angel, right? And a halo. So you click on that and it'll tell you everything that you have inside of your MetaMask wallet, okay? And then you can send said transaction from the pre-send wallet and it will actually pop up your MetaMask and have you approve the transaction and do all that stuff. And then pre-send will front run said transaction, run all of the checks. And then if it goes through, boom, seamless. If there's anything off, there's an issue, it doesn't let it go through to the blockchain because there's no, recalling that. And that's that. So we have to do it like this. It's not ideal, right? For us to have our own Chrome extension right next to MetaMask that integrates with MetaMask. But until we can prove to MetaMask that we are not a security risk to them, that we are a value add for their wallet, which has to come with active users, right? Like once we get like 100,000 active users, we're going to be able to go to MetaMask and be like, hey, dude, people like this. You guys need to integrate this, license it from us. We'll split the fees, blah, blah, blah. And it's a new revenue stream for them as well. So yeah, and it'll be integrated. Obviously, we have to do it one step at a time. It's like building a house, right? You can't just drop it down and it's all done. It's like you got to build it one brick at a time. Same thing here. We need to integrate it with all of the different browsers, all of the different devices, all of the different wallets, all of the different exchanges, right? DEXs aren't going to be much of an issue because there's not really much that you can do there, right? But all these centralized exchanges, absolutely, because they have their own wallets. Like a DEX, when you connect to a DEX, you just connect your wallet that you already have. It's not like you send your ETH to a DEX and they have an ETH wallet in there that's tied to you, right? So yeah, that's how we're gonna do it, man, and that's how we're doing it right now. And we've already got the Chrome extension working. I've dropped it in a couple of videos because people were asking about it and stuff like that. And we're rushing, like our devs are like that cat that's banging on the keyboard in the laptop. It's like a GIF, it's a meme, right? That's our devs right now. They're going crazy on the computers, but there's all like, we don't want to rush it to market, because if we come out with a half of a product that, you know, people lose some money, dude, there goes all of our credibility. The project's got the whole software's done. And it's like, I would rather it take a month longer and we know for a fact that it works, and then we protect the cryptocurrency markets for decades, than to come out with a product for 2 weeks and then lose all investor, all user confidence, and then it's no longer a thing. See what I mean? So yeah, that's basically how we're going to do it.
Yeah, no, just, you know, for anyone who's you know, asking questions about investments and how you make money and stuff like that, we've got a you know, a deep dive AMA on Tuesday, and we'll be, you know, going through all of this in a lot more detail. Drew, I absolutely knew you would.
Larry should have posted all the stuff in there in the AMA chat. So if he didn't, tell me and I'll do it. But yeah, like you said, we'll do a deep dive, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I don't think I've seen anything.
Larry must have passed out. He must have drank some cold medicine again. That boy Larry, man, he's, you know, he'll go to sleep on you. That's fine. I'll post it in there. At the end of the day, you can go to the website right now, pre-send. It's presend.io. You can click mint NFT. It'll take you right there. You can mint your NFTs right here and now. $250 BUSD on Binance Smart Chain. We'll talk about it a lot more on Tuesday, I'm sure. But just in case, for the people that don't want to wait that long because they're freaking out, it might mint out, whatever. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Absolutely stunning. Thank you very much, Drew. Really appreciate your time on coming up here, matey. And just, guys, for anyone, all of the projects have been hugely gracious in giving something away to our Millionaire Club community. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a loyalty program within MDB, which is, you know, if you invest $500 worth of MDB, which is your own MDB, you get access to the Yacht Club, which is a kind of a private channel. We do two times $1,000 MDB giveaways every month. We have our own dedicated mental health awareness coach. She's a professional. She's awesome. He gives all kinds of kind of AMA sessions and one-to-ones and stuff like that. It's just a loyalty program that, you know, it's still your value, still your money. As one of the perks, you know, anything that comes from things like AMAs as a giveaway, they go to our community. So, you know, if anyone's interested in joining the MDB Millionaire Club, please feel free. It's just a simple investment. I think right now it's 31,000 MDB the last time we calculated that value. So, you know, just feel free to jump on board. So what we'll do at the end of this, depending on how late it is, I might have to do it tomorrow. I hope that doesn't cause anyone problems, but I'll be running the giveaways. We normally use the giveaway bot, and it'll be one bot per project, and essentially it'll be for our Millionaire Club community. So I did see that question come up in the AMA questions channel a little bit earlier on. So with that being said, Drew, thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate your time on the session. I think we've got Cyril from Only Burns who's turned up. So Drew, I'll take you off the stage, buddy, and we'll catch you up on Tuesday, pal.
I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, man. Okay, let's bring up Cyril, or I think it's Burnberry, different pseudonym.
Cyril, hey, how's it going?
My man, me and Cyril have spoke many times before. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. You know, just keep busy watching the markets and you know, nose to the grindstone as always.
Yeah, it's been. I trade BTC a lot, and it's just very, very choppy. That 20K is just an absolute magnet, both to the up and down side at the minute. So kind of waiting with bated breath to see what the dynamics look like. Ultimately, as bad as it sounds, I still think we're heading for a little bit more misery, unfortunately. But anyway, sorry, I digress. So talk to me, baby. Let's talk about Only Burns. I've heard you. I don't know. Truth be known, I don't know an awful lot about the project. I kind of stick within the walls of MDB, to be completely honest, and this is always a pleasure to hear about new projects. But I have heard actually a lot of kind of popular people linked to Only Burns. So I'm keen to obviously know more about it. So without further ado, my mate, if you don't mind, give us an introduction to yourself, and then let's lead straight into the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So, myself, I am a KYC'd and doxed individual. I've been KYC'd through Obsidian Council. Doxed, my name is Joshua Hood. But I go by Cyril Kier, pretty much have for the last like 18 years now. But yeah. So I am on the team over there at Only Burns and Morodes. I believe you're familiar with him. He's there on the team as well, and we're working together on Only Burns. And part of why quite a lot of names in the space are interested in Only Burns is because it's something that's pretty unique. I know you guys got some unique stuff going on over here at MDB too, and that tends to bring the crowds, right? People love something unique in the space. It's not just a fork of something else, or just a rehashed idea under a different skin. So Only Burns is, if I were to boil it down into like a one sentence description, it is the curve wars of burning, would be a really great way to put it. So our token Oburn, it acts as the governance. And what it does is our protocol collects 10% of all buys and stashes it over the course of a month. And then users, we have a DApp that's going to be coming out. They're going to be able to utilize their tokens and burn some of their Oburn as governance to back a vote. And you can vote for anything. So, like, let's say a bunch of MDB members came over, bought some Oburn, and then burnt it and voted for MDB. What we would then do is we would collect all of that money over the course of the month that comes in under that buy tax, and we would purchase MDB and then burn it to the dead wallet. And
Whoa.
yeah. So it is essentially burns as a service. And
Wow, I like it. I
we
did
have
not
that.
know that. So the piece I was, I guess, not understanding is, so it's not you guys actively buy, a project's token based on a governance vote, and then
Correct.
you'll essentially burn that token to depreciate, or deflate it, not deflate. Deflate the value. Essentially, you're taking tokens out of circulation.
Yes, that is correct. And we buy it only from the liquidity pool, right? So we don't do OTC buys or anything like that. It comes from the liquidity pool, provide that nice spike in price that everyone loves. And we keep the results of the votes. We publicize it after we do the buyback and burn. That way, nobody can sit there and try to front run it. And all of that process is automated, right? So like the tallying of the votes and everything like that, it's all run through the DApp that we're creating for this. And we have not launched yet. The seed round is currently going on, which gives people the opportunity to purchase at about 25% of launch price. And we have a little bit allocated for the seed round. And once that sells out, it's done until we move towards the whitelist and then the public pre-sale. And the Only Burn token, that is one part of our ecosystem. And I know I'm kind of going to have to fly through this a little bit because I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time. But we also have a NFT series that will be coming out for this. And these NFTs will boost your governance. So tier 1, of which there's only 1,000 in total supply that will be minted, will boost your governance by 25%. So if you burn one O-burn to vote for a project like MDB, it counts as 1.25 token being burnt, right? Our tier 2 has a 50% governance boost. So each token counts as 1.5. And then our tier 3 has a 100% boost. So one token counts as 2. And these NFTs, we're going to be building out a rent marketplace. So because the supply of these NFTs is so low, tier 1 has 1,000, tier 2 has 500, and tier 3 has only 250. That's it. As our ecosystem expands and as more projects are trying to utilize our burn as a service, you're going to be able to rent out your NFT to them for the period of 1 month on the rent marketplace so that they can borrow your governance, essentially bribing
cool.
you for that extra governance.
Yeah.
And
So, question for you then.
yeah.
So I understand it. So I completely understand the governance that decides, what tokens are going to be burnt. What determines the quantity of tokens to be burnt on a specific project?
So essentially, we collect all of the money off the buy tax. There's a 10% buy tax, 9% of which is allocated towards buying and burning those project tokens. So if we collect, let's say over the course of a month, we collect, $30,000 for that buy tax, that's how much we buy back and burn.
How often do the buyback and burns happen?
Once a month. Yes, sir.
Is there a limitless supply of Oburn, or what is? Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let me tell you a little bit about the Oburn tokenomics, and then I'm going to drop some teasers of the tier 2 NFTs for you guys. They're pretty sweet, so can't wait to share. So the tokenomics for it's pretty simple. It's a hyper deflationary token. It starts off with a 1 trillion supply, and then 10% of cells burns the Oburn. So that helps deflate it. Plus, you have people who are buying and then burning the Oburn token for their governance votes, and that also deflates it. So over time, let's say you wanted to hop in early and just kind of sit on your Oburn for a while. Over time, you're going to wind up owning a bigger piece of the pie of the total supply as that supply deflates.
And you can sell that Oburn just to make revenue, as well as using it for governance purchases.
Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
I understand. And when you sell that back, that's when you burn 10% of that to make that token deflationary.
Correct.
Understood.
Now,
Very
who
cool.
wants to see what our tier 2 NFTs look like?
Please.
I'm posting those in the AMA questions.
Yeah, very cool. Wow. That's like the Black Death mask.
Yes, yes.
Very cool. They are.
Yeah.
Is that straight off the production line? Is that first visibility here?
That is correct. That is correct. So we're working with a company that's pretty renowned. They do a lot of 2D and 3D digital assets for AAA games. And we're very excited to be working with them on this NFT. Like it's crazy.
Very cool.
So
yeah.
The tier 3 one is going to be a combination of 3D modeling for the tier 3, and of which there's only 250 of those guys. So we're very excited to be able to tease the tier 3 once that's ready. Now, in case you thought that was all that was to our ecosystem,
I knew you always have something else up your sleeve. Let's hear it.
Always. So we are actually going to be taking all of the money from the NFT sales, and we are going to be investing it for the treasury. Like, it's not going in my pocket, it's not going in Sam's pocket, it's not going in anyone's pocket. It is going to create an investment fund. And what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be balancing it between a whole lot of different strategies, from stable farming, lending out on platforms like Aave, utilizing some trading bots, and then
Buying some MDB Plus, etc., etc.
Yeah, we're going to be exploring a whole lot of different options. Anything that generates solid revenue, even if it's MDB Plus, utilizing overnight finance's ETS system so that we have a hedge, so that our treasury continues growing even in a bear market. And once our treasury has grown a certain percentage, which we have all that mapped out, that's all detailed in our Discord, which I'll drop a little link for here.
Please put your link in the AMA questions if you can. Awesome
Absolutely.
stuff.
There you go. So the purpose of this treasury is we will be launching a token called Arson. It is a low supply, only 500,000 total token. The launch price for it will be $4 per token. There will not be a pre-sale. And this will act as a way to invest into the treasury itself. And we're going to be taking the profits from, we're taking 30% of the profits from the treasury, buying back Arson, then taking 40% of the profits, taking the Arson that we bought back, raising the price, and Arson we have in our treasury to make up whatever the difference is, right, of that between the 30% and the 40%,
Yeah.
and then adding it back to liquidity. So we'll be raising the price and deepening the liquidity.
Yeah. Very cool. To gives you a more stable price as that liquidity grows as well.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. And these NFTs, when we are ready to launch Arson, the only way that you would be able to get Arson without purchasing it once it has launched, because again, there will be no pre-sale on this, no allocation on Arson, nothing. The NFTs for a period of 53 days will receive a drip of Arson to the holder's wallet. Each
Very
tier
cool.
1 NFT will give you half an Arson a day, which is equal to $2 at launch price a day. Each tier 2 will give you 1 Arson a day, equal to $4 at launch price. Each tier 3 will give you 1.5, equal to $6 a day at launch price.
And how many of each tier NFTs are available? So I know tier 3 only has 250 NFTs. What about tier 1 and 2?
Tier 1 has 1,000 total. Tier 2 has 500 total, and tier 3 has that 250. And when we do the mint for these tiers, when we first stage 1 minting, there will be 33% of each tier available. You'll be able to decide which tier you're minting, but once that 33% during stage 1 minting is out, then you're not going to be able to mint that tier again until we go to stage 2. Now, when we go to stage 2, the price will be higher, but we'll leave minting open for a period of time. So I see someone asked what are the prices. Tier 1 starting price is 100 for the stage 2 or the stage 1 mint. Tier 2 is tier 250. Tier 3 is 400. And the reason for that scale is the total supply change and the fact that we're very much aware that the governance boosting aspect of 100% for tier 3 is going to be in a lot higher demand, especially with that very low supply. Plus, people should be able to rent those out fairly easily on the rent marketplace, make some good residual money that way. Plus, they're going to have that Arson drip on top of that, which if you run the math, the Arson drip alone over the course of 53 days completely ROIs a tier 1 NFT, almost completely ROIs a tier 2, and gets about 78% ROI on tier 3. And yes, that is, I see a question here. Yes, that's
we done something very similar with the Phoenix Fire Club.
Yeah?
I think we originally, well, you had to purchase them in MDB Plus. Now, obviously, the value of that changes as the price of MDB goes up. But I think we sold something like 120 or some, 230 or something like that before we paused it. And we sold the first lot at, I think it was 750 MDB. I think the second lot was 950 thereabouts, and then the third time we opened up the mint, I think it was 1,000 MDB plus. So, you'd have to work out what the exchange rate was at the time. But we done something similar in terms of how we also minted it, which was a massive success. Very cool. What a really interesting concept, and I think that's again. I said. You may not heard this earlier on because I know you came in a bit late, but I said the innovation in this space is what's driving it forward continuously. And how you guys keep thinking of these kind of ideas, Drew, with that we're pre-sending obviously this in terms of how you guys are doing things. It's just I love seeing this because I live quite in this kind of yeah, thank you, Happy Peterson. I know I'd get something wrong. I always fluff up the numbers. Don't worry about that. But the idea is the same. But it's the innovation, and I very rarely go outside of the MDB wall. Back in the day, I think it was like 6 months ago, I was in and out of every single Discord. I remember my inbox used to get blasted with links to join other, the whitelist and all that kind of stuff. So I went right through the ringer with all of that. But I very rarely go outside of MDB. So this is really my only chance to learn about new projects, and that's why I really love these AMAs, specifically the mega ones where it's almost like speed dating, but you get a load of information, and whilst none of it's endorsed or financial advice or anything like that from an MDB perspective, it's still a great platform for people to make their own minds up about what they see in terms of the innovation, and it's amazing to see from everyone actually who's been on the stage. You've all represented the projects in such a great way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the mega AMAs that you guys do are great. It's nice to be able to tune in now and then and hear some things, because you're right. As your project gets bigger and bigger, it gets harder to, sneak on out there into other Discords. And
it's
one
just
of the
a time thing, isn't it?
It is, and one of the things that I love about the DeFi space is just being able to build, right? Because that's where my heart's at. I really don't care about money, which is why, like, I don't, none of the NFT sales or anything like that goes to me, because I just like building, right? I've been trading stocks for about 12 years now, crypto for 8, in DeFi for almost 4 years now, and so, like, I'm good on that front. I just love building things, and whenever I tell people about like Only Burns and kind of what we're doing, they're like, oh, I thought it, a year or so ago that would be a cool thing to have, but never really did anything with it. And I'm like, well, you snooze, you lose, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's you just don't want to be extra liquidity, do you, on the back end of these things? So getting in early has always been the right way, but I think the kind of projects that are coming through the space now, and I can speak it quite actively on MDB, is it's not about extra liquidity in our game anyway, specifically on a deflationary project, and similarly to yours as well. It's about getting in and being there for the longer term. The more removal of tokens, you own a bigger slice of that pie each time that burn happens. So realistically, it doesn't matter really when you get in, because as long as you own some level of MDB, as an example, it's only going to grow in value over time once that squeeze, really starts to drive. So it's
Exactly.
I think that the Ponzi-nomic element is really, it's probably added today, which is definitely a good thing. And now it's about projects that are more around the adult version and the mature version of what DeFi space is starting to bring. So it's an awesome time to start to see some of these projects flourish.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to see a lot of the meme markets are kind of dying out and real utilities coming into the space. And, having that long-term plan is great. Like when I'm talking with a project or that comes over to do an AMA in our Discord or something like that, and I say, well, what's your roadmap? And they give me something like maybe a couple months out. I'm like, okay, well, what's your long-term plan? Like I already have plans in place for when the Oburn supply winds up deflating, by 60-70%. Like, what kind of mechanisms are we going to be able to implement? What kind of things are we going to be able to do? Having those plans in place is how you continue growing your ecosystem. You continue providing value. Like there's going to be an additional thing. Like I can't really talk about it yet because we're not making it public. But there's going to be an additional aspect in the future once Only Burns supply winds up deflating by like 60-70% due to that hyperdeflationary mechanism, where the NFTs will actually be able to bring more governance into the space via an additional mechanism called Afterburn. Which, that's all I'm going to say on that. But,
Nice. Well, I don't want to put you on the spot here, by the way, because that would be rude of me to do so. But I guess I'm going to anyway.
Feel free.
obviously, because you guys were quite late into the scene in terms of the AMA, it's the same with Presend. Actually, we normally do some level of giveaway to our community. Are you guys able to do any kind of giveaway as part of something that we could offer the community?
Yeah, I can do that. So obviously our token is not out yet, right? And neither are NFTs. We are in the seed round. But what I can do is I can give away I think 4 whitelist spots for the NFT itself.
Awesome.
Reason why I'm going with that is because the whitelist spot will enable you to purchase. See our NFT, because we're aware that it's very low supply. There's going to be that high demand. We're going to be doing a whitelist stage where for 24 hours, anyone who is whitelisted is going to be able to, of their own leisure, at any time during those 24 hours, purchase one of each tier if they so
Love that.
choose. After
That's
that,
brilliant.
it goes into a free-for-all, right, until that 33% is sold out.
Yeah.
But that gives you that opportunity to take your leisure, take your time, not have to sit there mashing it at 2 o'clock in the morning, your time, to try to get in, right? So yeah, I can give away 4 of those spots to your community. And
that.
then if you want to run that giveaway and then just send me over what wallets are being whitelisted, I'll add that to my spreadsheet.
No, that's really kind. Thank you very much. I think Drew in a private chat. Sorry, this is to the community, by the way, is giving away an NFT. So what I'll do, just to reconfirm, I'll tomorrow it's just gone 11 p.m. here, so probably won't do it tonight, but I'll make sure we run the giveaway bot, and I'll do an announcement and let everyone know when that is. We'll run it for 24 hours on each project, so everyone's got a bit of a time to kind of get in and register their interest. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to speak to you guys. If anyone, I'm okay for another 10 minutes. I'm going to take Cyril off the stage, but what I will do is I'll invite the community, anyone who wants to come up and ask a question, and if it's for a specific project leader, I will then bring them back up the stage to answer any questions. So if you guys are okay, maybe for 10 minutes, just stick around, or at least as long as there's questions. If there's no more questions, we'll call it a day. But if that's okay with you, Cyril, I'll take you off the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute pleasure and an awesome concept. I'm so happy I heard about it, because I heard the name, just probably didn't do enough due diligence on what it was. But now that you've kind of explained that, what a really cool idea and fantastic concept. And I can't see any negative to any other project why they wouldn't want your project to be about, because if there's enough community interest, that's only going to propel the burns. So why wouldn't that be a good thing? So awesome job,
Exactly.
matey.
And being able to burn anything on any chain, including NFTs, if the community voted for it.
One quick question for you, sorry. What chain are you guys launching your NFTs and O token on?
We're launching on Polygon.
You're launching on Polygon, right? Got it.
Correct.
Okay, awesome stuff. Right, I'll take you off, and then I'll see if anyone wants to come up on the stage and ask some questions. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Anyone feel free? Noel Flanders, welcome to the stage, my friend. You're just on mute, buddy. Don't know if you can hear me, matey, but if you want to maybe just go off mute.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're on. I can hear you. Okay, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Are these giveaways going to be for Millionaires Club exclusively, or?
Yes. Yeah. The for the Millionaire Club members, as part of one of the perks.
And I'm going to start calling you Patty to Batty. Thanks for bringing me on. Take it easy.
I wish I could fight like him. No problem, matey. Okay, cool. Okay, is there any other questions from anybody else who would like to come up on the stage? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite Mr. Maverick, if it's okay, back up on the stage because I had a few questions that I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper on. If he's available. Hey, Mr. Maverick.
Hey, Apex. Yeah, I'm available.
Ah, good man, good man.
Hey, that was a great presentation too. Enjoyed what Burn Daddy had to bring to the community. That was great.
Yeah, no, as I say, these are always great. I mean, this has been quite a long one. Obviously, we just peaked 2 hours, but I did want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what you were talking about before. I thought there was some really interesting ideas there. I think questions I asked was about scalability, and then the other one was around, the kind of potential how lucrative these rewards could potentially be, and just to get a sense on that, please.
Sure. Hey, look, we're actually in the process of building out the investment profile. Specifically, we're talking about a significant amount of funds, so we're going to be able to spread it around across many of the well-known blockchains, and also some other blockchains that are lesser known to provide a greater amount of yield. So, hey, in a nutshell, I can tell you what our goal is, and we're actually close to achieving that goal through our investment strategy, which we'll be releasing here within the next week. But it's somewhere in the terms of between 3 and 4% monthly,
Wow.
as far as total returns. So it's not quite as good as maybe the more well-known yield nodes, right? But they own their own protocols, and in a way, they're supporting their own networks. We're not aiming to do that. We're aiming to solidify the existing well-known blockchains, as well as diversify these investments among many other high-quality opportunities that reside out there. So, hey, I don't want to give like a specific number, because at the end of the day, as a validator, you're provided the amount based on what the validator provides. Each one has its own percentage income per month and ROI per year. But yeah, we're aiming and targeting between 3 and 4% a month, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. What is the? I guess what would be the long-term ambition? Is it a number of master nodes that you want to create, or I say master nodes, that might not be the right term, but validator nodes. Do you have an ambition where you want to try and do you want to build like 10 a month, or 20 a month, or is there a roadmap like that, or is it based purely upon what the investment looks like, and you'll build it from that point?
Yeah, so it's going to vary from time to time, but it's going to have a smell test. And I apologize, I have my dogs in the background chewing on each other. But the barrier to entry on the different chains themselves is much different. I think you heard Drew mention earlier, like Kronos, and it being almost $500,000, right, to open up a node, or something like that. So when you start looking at it, the barrier to entry for some, like on Ethereum, which is just 32 ETH, open up a node and operate. At the moment, looks pretty attractive because it's less than $40,000, but for others, it's different. So, sure. What we're planning on doing is scaling at a significant rate. And so we have a few really trusted advisors that we're going to be announcing here fairly soon, and some that the communities are going to know very, very well. I don't want to drop those names yet because we haven't put the pen to the paper, and they're involved in many other things. And so I don't want to reveal it without their permission, right? But these people are going to be assisting us on a month-to-month basis, based on, what the next potential and most lucrative investment would be. It's kind of a broad question, but that's the great thing about it being a club, is that the club members also have a say. So we'll help to present the best opportunities, and then they'll all choose or assist us with choosing on where the best allocation of funds go. So we're not just going to bring any and all opportunities. We're only going to bring the opportunities that really reflect the whole business model that we're building out here. So, So in a nutshell, the ROIs, like I mentioned, we're shooting for between 3 and 4% monthly. Now, the real magic happens, though, Apex, when you put it on paper and you start looking at the market as it is now versus what the market may look like 2 years from now.
That is the key.
And
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'll just tell you, if the price remained the same now and everybody bought in today, those assets they'd produce, it would allow you to ROI, let's just say in 2 years. Okay. Let's just say that. Well, if it were to shift, right, and the market started in an upward pattern, then we could ROI as soon as 5 months.
Well, yeah,
and
well,
if you believe,
if it 2x's, it's 1 year. If it 4x's, it's 6 months, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's
and
just talk. Sorry, you go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. And you mentioned basically kind of just highlighting how we plan to scale. Well, there's two elements to this that differentiate us from most people that are trying to operate in this space. Is that we're going to be operating our own industrial grade servers in a secure, backed up facility where some of the hardware is the uptime is going to be the most consistent, most reliable, without fail. And so that separates us in the fact that a lot of people try and run these things on virtual private servers. There's a lot of complication with that. You're relying on other people's equipment. It may be in another country. You don't really understand what you're getting into, and the uptime typically isn't as good. So when you're running your own servers, it allows you to also scale. When I say 10 servers, I'm talking about like Dell R630 servers that are pretty significant and profound and allow us to scale much, much larger beyond just what's going to be needed initially. Also, when it comes to scaling, we formed a partnership with a group called Zeptile Software. They're actually building us out a custom piece of software specific to monitor and manage all of our nodes across all blockchain infrastructure. So what that means is, just like a true business, we're going to have a dashboard available to the team members to where we can manage the health of them, also be able to claim rewards, insert into the smart contract to be able to pay. I mean, it's going to make everyone's life much simpler, and it's going to help us to achieve, uptime that far exceeds what the normal average person could. So it's very, very scalable. Very scalable for the future. So we're not building this just for today. It just so happens today is the best time to build it. We're building it for the long term, and we envision these NFTs as a true store of value, and they're ever increasing in value. Theoretically, it should be. The market's going to determine the value of these NFTs ultimately, but as we're continuing to reinvest into the protocol and build greater numbers of validators, the rewards are going to continue to grow, and thus the NFT value should continue to grow as well.
Yeah, I really love how you explain things. From even my simple mind, I completely understand, what you guys are doing. And I think being sovereign over your own server is another key thing where, for uptime, which is key, obviously. If you're sovereign over your own server and you haven't got to rely on, other countries to manage that, and you don't really dictate how things are operating. That's right. Always can be a problem. I think that's another really astute move by the team. I'm really excited to see where you guys go. And I think just remind me again, when do you guys plan to launch?
Yeah, so the soft deadline that we've given to all the developers and the team is mid to late fourth quarter. Okay, and we've broadened that because we realize that we don't need to launch until we have enough people with the interest. That would be the only thing I could see that would really threaten the launch. So that's really what we're in the process of right now is trying to get out in front of communities, help educate people on what we're trying to achieve, and help them to really believe in what we're building. This is not your typical DeFi play. It's absolutely DeFi. We're looking to build long-term passive income and wealth. But I mean, really, there's no token to invest into. Your NFT represents a share of the organization that should ever grow due to the structure that we've built and the reinvestment philosophy. So Apex, the only other thing I would love to bring up before I get off the stage or before someone asks another question is we have a unique mechanism, and it's funny that we just heard from the Burn group right before, but we have a mechanism that's built into our protocol to where we're going to allocate so much earnings from every month. There's going to be a specific amount of earnings, and we're going to allocate so much percentage. Let's just say 5% to buy back and burn those NFTs and remove them from the contract permanently.
Very cool.
So think about that. Over time, we may start out with 10,000 NFTs, but really the long-term horizon and goal for us. And yeah, he mentions in the comments we can burn even more of your NFTs. So that as you were talking, the team internally was conversating in the background, like, hey, we could potentially use these guys. But yeah, this is something that we've actually worked out. And we're talking about removing possibly 10, 15, 20% over the next 5 years of those NFTs. And if you look at what that does along the horizon, it's incredible. So just super excited about the team behind it is so transparent. And we're just so willing and able and ready to really introduce people to what we're trying to achieve here, because I think the long-term horizon, if you want to be involved in this for a long time and validation is something that you're interested in, this is real revenue, and this is a real way to get in, and it's a real way to grow with the community long-term. You don't have to worry about the token going to zero. Of course, the chains, right? We have to be smart with our investments, but us
you know what, I
ourselves.
think when you guys have launched, and I offer this to everyone who's kind of been on the stage today. Once you guys have launched and you're established, it'd be lovely to kind of get you guys in for a full length AMA and really kind of get involved in your journey and really kind of speak more about detail and stuff like that about the project and how it's going and stuff like that. If you guys are up for it in the near future, so
yeah, we'd love to, Apex. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd love to get Draco on the phone too. If you like my voice, you're gonna like Draco's much better.
Awesome stuff. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you coming back
Yes,
up and
sir.
answering them
Thank
questions. As I was really keen to kind of get into a little bit more, so much appreciated. Okie dokie, I'll take you back off the stage, and I'll just do one more quick round robin. If anyone wants to ask one quick question before we wrap up, but if not, I will adjourn and wish everyone well, and thank you very much for if anyone stayed the course with 2 hours and 21 minutes in, which I think actually is a record. Number one for me personally to do an AMA for this long, but even MDB, at least on the Mega AMAs, actually on any AMA, I don't think we've gone this long. So if anyone's been here from the beginning and done it to the end, I salute you. Thank you very much for coming and staying. And this is recorded, by the way, so if anyone yeah, it is. You are absolutely right. It's an endurance test if you can stay this long, especially with my accent. Jesus Christ. If anyone from any of the projects want a copy of the link to the recording, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to share that with anyone who wants it. But I don't think anyone else is putting their hands up. So with that being said, I will say my goodbyes and wish everyone well and say thank you very much. Thank you, Rosie. Really appreciated. Thank you, Blockter. This is the bit I love when everyone just says well done, well done. I'm just being a divvy, sorry. Right, guys, I'm tired. It's time for bed. I need some medicine, some paracetamol. And then, yeah, I'm going to go to sleep. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Have a lovely evening, day, night, wherever you guys are. And we will catch up with you soon. Thank you very much. Bye for now.